Planet Crafter is so much fun. I am 15 hours in. My terraformation status is 51 point something. I'm currently on the lakes stage. I just started the moss stage. And this game is addictive. It is so much fun. I grabbed it on sale and I thought I was just going to jump in and play it just a little bit in between work and playing a bunch of other games I'm doing. I thought I would just try it out real quick, and all of a sudden, I put over 15 hours into it. I am still on my starter planet. The planet started looking like this. And now that I'm on the lake stage, you can see I've got waterfalls happening. I've got grass growing. These are actually flower beds. This is my executive office up here, where I've got my status screen. I've got my blueprint screen. I've got a compass that I don't have working yet because I haven't launched the rocket yet. I've got my power to watch the power. And I've got a bed and some room to do more as I do more. That's the executive suite. This is where all my work's happening right now. I'm growing my own food. Got an advanced crafting station as well as a normal crafting station. I've got quite a bit of storage here. Here's my first tip I'm going to show you as well. Let me grab a magnesium. What I was doing was I wanted to label all of my lockers because I just am starting to get so much material, as you probably know if you're playing too. So I was going in and I was creating a sign, and I was putting the sign on my locker like this. And then I realized these lockers come with the sign right on them. All you do is just click on it and you can change the text. So, little hint there. Be sure when you're setting up your lockers, be sure and use the built-in sign instead of creating one like I did. Oh, I've also got it upstairs. All I'm doing up here so far, I created it to start giving me some room. I'm starting to collect the more rare things, at least at this stage of my game. Zeolite, osmium, and then just junk that I'm going to end up shredding. I don't have a shredder yet. And I've started using my recycling machine to experiment with how I can potentially get some of the resources I haven't been able to find yet. I happened to come across, Pulsar Quartz in a cave. And let me grab one of those. I had no idea what to do with it. I still don't have any blueprints that do anything with it. However, what I noticed is if you recycle this Pulsar Quartz, you get some very handy material. You get osmium, you get iridium, which I really need right now. You get zeolite, which I don't know what I'm doing with yet. You get uranium, which I really need right now. And you get these methane cartridges. You can notice too, I've started to organize magnesium, iron, lots of iron, all my seed stuff, aluminum, cobalt, silicon, titanium, and sulfur. The two things I've built most recently are, go down here to my biodome. I built my first biodome. It's creating tree bark for me. I was going to test and see if I have to, this is pretty, isn't it? Look at that. That's very cool. Do I have to unload both of these, or are they both the same? Yeah, they're both the same. So I'm starting to create tree bark, even though I don't know what I need to do with it yet. I did build a vehicle station. However, I don't have the material yet to actually create a vehicle, which is unfortunate. I also just created a BioLab. So the BioLab is where I'm able to create bacteria samples, bioplastic nuggets, fertilizer, explosive powder, and then mutagen at some point. The only blueprints I have so far are for using the fertilizer and the explosive powder. So I have just started to use this, and I'm storing material in here for now for that. I also just started, I want to show you as well here. I am producing my own water. And then I have 3 of these. I think these are tier 2. These are tier 1, I think, ore extractors. I've got 3 of them. These produce a lot. I mean, I'm getting, it's not necessarily all the material that I really want. And I'm going to show you here pretty soon. I'm going to take one of these and do a little experiment with it. But these are a super way to get a whole bunch of material that normally when you're starting out, you're just walking around the planet actually doing yourself. So you can see here, I'm already full, and I've got 2 other storage containers of stuff. Anyway, the other thing I was going to show you was once I started into the lake stage, and now I'm into the moss stage, your planet starts to create lakes like this. None of this water was here when I first started. And so I've got some algae feeders in here. So I can come in here and I can grab, let's get something to drink, shall we? I can grab algae right now. Again, my inventory is full already, so I can't grab it, but I got to take care of that. But very cool. On this particular run, this is my very first run, pretty much right over there where I'm pointing is where my ship landed. And I went up there and created a station. Let's get out of this in case it turns into a meteor storm. Created a station up the hill there. I've been starting to abandon that station and this station. I've gotten rid of most of this already because of a message I received through the comm system that informed me to be careful because a lot of your low-lying areas are going to flood with water and your stuff, I guess, gets destroyed. I don't know. So I didn't know that. So I've started to kind of clean up some of the lower lying areas like this one and start building my main base up the hill there. But this game is so addictive. Like I said, I started playing it. I was going to just check it out. Long time No Man's Sky player, 1,200 hours. So I wanted to see what this is like from the space, crafting, building, exploration kind of perspective. And it's a lot of fun, but in a different way. You can see also the blue hexagons. Those are where I've set up beacons in various places across the planet as I've done my exploration. Those are important points. Either it's a cave I found or like a derelict ship that I set up at least temporary base to farm the material out of it, various things like that. When I first started Planet Crafter, and again, I'm only 12 hours in or 15 hours in or something, so I'm still total noob. But I wasn't sure the exploration was going to be that cool, that necessary, or that fun. That's pretty, isn't it? But yeah, and it's not the same as No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky, every planet is procedurally generated. It's, very different, very random every time. There's a lot of different biomes. Here, at first I thought exploration wasn't really going to be much because, you're just kind of walking around looking for the material you need to upgrade, find blueprints to unlock new things you can do. But it turns out exploration is really, really important because it's exploration that helps you find the material that you haven't found yet, find the blueprint chips you need to unlock new blueprints to be able to do things. to find locations that are good locations, like caves that are maybe iced over. And once you heat the planet up, it starts to melt like we've seen, and you can get in the cave. So it's actually a lot more important than I thought it was originally. And then let me just show you my rocket station. Notice what I did there. I flew with my jetpacks right into the ladder, and then I just hit my button, my mouse button, and it popped me right up to the top. So I have a rocket launcher. It's funny, the first 2 rockets I launched, I thought I did something wrong. They started to lift off and then they fell down. They ended up falling into that canyon. And I think what had happened was I had built some additional girders or hangers or whatever you call that. I built some additional a little farther to the right here into the launch pad as part of my little executive suite there. And I think it was actually hitting it a little bit. So I tried to clean that up. And the next rocket I launch, we'll see if it actually launches successfully. But the rocket launcher, you can launch magnetic field protection rockets, which basically multiplies your pressure multiplier by 1,000%. Pressure is one of the things that's part of your terraformation process. So I launched one of those. An asteroid attraction rocket. I believe I launched one of these as well. It's a heat multiplier by 1,000%, another part of the terraformation process. And you can launch more than one of these. I've just done one of each so far. I have not done a plant rocket yet. Notice I need rocket engine and a couple super alloys. Those are the things that are harder to get right now, harder to create based on the raw materials. But that's probably what I'm going to do next for the oxygen output increase. And then there's a couple of GPS satellite rockets that will help me with, geolocation across the planet, mapping, along with the final one here, mapping information rocket that'll mark points of interest. I need to get these created so that I can have a better understanding beyond just my beacons of where everything is that I found, and maybe it'll help show me where the things are that I haven't found yet. So launched a couple of rockets. I got more to do. I just got to create lots of material. Cobalt, if you control click a certain item in your inventory, it'll move all of it to your inventory or back to your backpack. So click gets rid of all those. Let's put the silicon in here. I got plenty of water. I don't need to carry all this water with me right now. I usually carry 3 or so water and 3 or so food and 3 or so oxygen, depending on what I'm doing. So I'll get rid of those. And then, okay, let me show you what I think I'm going to work on next. We go back up here to my executive station. So I'm a little bit into the moss stage. You can see my readings there: oxygen, heat, pressure, biomass. If I look at my blueprint display, notice that there's these sections: terraformation, O2, heat, pressure. And by the way, I didn't find out until I was at least 10 hours in. I didn't even know that you can also click the second one here, and it shows you the second set of all of your terraformation information: biomass, plants, insects, and animals, which I haven't even started yet. So anyway, for each of these, there's a series of blueprints that you can unlock, and there's it's partly through finding blueprint chips, I believe, but it's more importantly for me, you progress your terraformation or your oxygen, you progress whatever line that is, you progress the values far enough to open the next item. For example, something that's important to me is getting to these tier 2 and tier 3 ore extractors. So notice my pressure is at 14 point something right now. This gas extractor is locked. Notice that it unlocks at 100. So I've got to go from 14 to 100, and these are clear up at 300. And this is even bigger. So I have a long way to go. I've got to do a lot of things to create much more pressure. Probably launch additional pressure satellites. Probably find things that I can do like extractors on planet that bump that pressure up as well. So again, pressure, and then the oxygen one, the next one unlocks at 63. I got quite a ways to go on oxygen. In terms of biomass, the next one unlocks at 500. I'm only like halfway there. Flower spreaders, tree spreaders, heaters. I've got to start working on that one as well. And then plants, I've got a long way to go. So biomass, basically biomass, O2, heat, pressure, basically all of them. If I look at what I can build, an ore extractor gives me quite a bit of heat and pressure, 17 and 15. Pretty much a lot of energy though at 34. A tier 3 drill, I get more pressure for a whole lot less energy. See, this is 17 pressure at only 8.5 energy versus less pressure, but also more heat with the ore extractor for a whopping 34 energy. So I think what I need to do next is kind of mass produce a bunch of T3 drills. I don't know, maybe a dozen or so, and see how that affects my pressure number. See if I can tell after a short amount of time if it really seems to be moving more or not. So that's my next plan, is to create, again, a bunch of these T3 drills. The one thing I'm also going to do, let me show you here. Let's jump down into this canyon. I found right down here, and I'll be surprised if this doesn't fill with water, but I found right over here this cave. And what I want to try doing is I want to try putting an ore extractor like right at the front of the cave or down here in the cave to see if the material, the ore that it extracts, is actually different, actually better quality than the stuff I'm getting up above. Like these are probably osmium. Let's grab those. Sulfur. I don't want to stay here too long. I didn't really plan to stay here. I've got a little food and I've got water, so we should be okay. Let's grab a few of these, but I want to try putting an ore extractor up here in this cave and find out. Oh, cool. It goes all the way through. Find out, does that work? Does it need its own power? Usually you just set up power anywhere you want and it works across all of them. But I'm going to test that. Because again, I want to see if I can do better at my ore extraction in terms of the material I'm getting. So that's the plan. Next, I'm going to do a bunch of those T3 drills, try to get my pressure going a lot faster. And I'm going to take one of these ore extractors I have up here, and I'm going to try moving it down there and see if it works, see if I need more power for it, all that kind of stuff. And then while I do that, I'm going to go over there and I'm going to take a look at those awesome waterfalls.